Hello, hello. Once again, welcome to Inside Out Alignment, your platform for self-discovery and creativity. Your host, Mary Tabra, is here, and today we are blessed to have Angela Christiane with us. So, Angela means angel, messenger, and it's from the Greek meaning anointed. The parents of Angela gave her this name with an intention. So they purposely chose to give her this name. So it took some decades for Angela to finally, accept the task for which she is here. She lives in North Germany and works as a musician, therapist, and healer. Her work is influenced by the old wisdom from Hawaii, the Sufis, Buddhism, as well as shamanism, which is reflected in the offers of sound shells. I really want to know about that. Sound shells. So, Angela, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for accepting to be here with us today. Welcome.
Welcome. I thank you that you invited me to come to speak with you and to speak about me a little bit and my work, not me, but my work.
Beautiful, and I'm honored to have you. So, Angela, you're a firm believer. I see you have like many, you look at open-minded person who is able to learn different things, and bring them together and bring in that connection. But one thing I really want to like really start with is about the sound of shell, which is focused on the experience and transfer of the three main remedies of the universe that you said: breath, sound, and intention. Can you try to give us a little bit of about that? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So when we come to this world, we start with our first breath. It's in breathing. And then there are a lot of breaths we take during our life, and the last breath is out breathing. And in between these dualistic breathing directions, in and in the end out, happens our life in this material dualistic world. And when we feel what we can do with our breath, we will recognize that with each breathing in, we take all information surround us into us. And with the out breathing, we breathe out what we experience, but we also breathe out where we came from, and what the Indians say it's karma, what the Hawaiians say the aka ropes, all our ancestor experience. So we are here, the point where our consciousness is and can go in and act into this world, not attached on anything. This is what enlightened people are doing. They are connected always to both sides. They know where they're coming from, and they take the world as they is and have compassion. And when I started to look at breathing, I was 10 years old. I started to play trumpet. And so I'm educated in to control my breath. So there are two different ways to work with the breath. The one is to do nothing, just to watch and to observe. All the spiritual schools are using this. And from this point to let go all thoughts and all tension in our body. And the other part is to control the breath and control it in such a way that you can work with it to lift up your energy or to calm down. The most breathing schools are going uh, very with like physiotherapeutic things with the breath on the body. The second part is for self-experience, and all this Hinduism and prana schools, they use it as a spiritual part. But now, these three big directions, they are not connected, not yet. So I discovered in my way that they belong together. And if you want to go forward with self-healing with your breath, you have to connect the three directions and to work with all three.
Mm-hmm.
Because each of these directions influence the others. That's a big part of breathing. And our breath is the only part in our life and in our body and in our organ function where the consciousness and unconsciousness is on the same point. Otherwise, you couldn't breathe while you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And to the same time, we can influence our breathing. Not directly. The diaphragm is an unconsciousness muscle. You can say, oh, I relax my diaphragm. It will not work. It's like as when you, from the eye, your ciliary muscle do very small or wide. You can't do it by your will.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened. So you can force or control your breath with these other muscles. It's helper muscles. This is one part I'm working with. So I educate people how to breathe in the right way. We are all born with our breath as nature, people, and we all breathing in the right way. And there is also three parameters. The one, how deep is your breath going? Then the volume and the frequency, how fast you can breathe or how slow you can breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when you look at babies and when they're laying down, you see only the belly is moving, not anything else. All other parts of the body are relaxed. And the breath is reacting of the surrounding from them. So if you see they breathe, it's not a question. They can do it very easily. Most of us adults can do it very easily because we are not used to it, and our body is not used to have so much oxygen and to have this lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
The most people lost energy during this growing up process. The part with the sound. Sound moves matter. You can't escape any sound. You can close your ears, but you will feel it. Everybody who was to a festival and was standing in front of the big bass boxes with the music, you can feel it in your body. So when we speak or when we sing or when we drum or when we play trumpet, the sound is going through all matter and brings matter to move. And we know there are harmony and disharmony, and there are frequencies who makes our body sick. You know, all these noises from traffic, or you know, this in Germany they have these wind parks where they use the wind energy, and these big things make very deep frequencies, and you can't live so near because you will get sick. You can't sleep anymore of this low frequency. So sound can make you sick, but also can heal you if the frequency of the sound tunes you in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that the universe is music. Every planet has an own frequency. You can read it on internet. And one of the most healing frequencies is the frequency 128. When you have a tuning fork and you hold this tuning fork, you beat the tuning fork so that you have the sound there, and then you hold it to your body, mostly to one of the main lines of acupuncture. Your body will swing and the cells are going to heal and to work better. This is one way to work with sound, but the other way also, you have a voice. Everybody has a voice, and most people are not conscious about the sound of their own voice and what you can make for sound with these wonderful instrument. And some singers, they are singing, and when you hear them, you feel the sky is open because of this sound. Singers also use of course use the breath and the vibration of the sound. And the third part is the intention. We have a lot of thoughts every day, about I think 60,000. I don't know. It's a lot. So, and our thoughts create feelings. If you sit somewhere and you think about your worries, what could happen? What could happen if? After a while, you start to feel bad. And also your body will react on this. And when we start to realize that our thoughts and the sound of our voice and our breath, we combine it in a good way, we can heal ourselves in a very, very easy way. But we have to be aware and consciousness about how we are breathing, how the sound is, and what we are thinking, how our intention is. And I have master classes, and in my about over 3 years, and I give homework to practice breathing, sound, and intention. It's a mixture from different parts, from different schools, from sound, from meditation, from different breathing schools. So I would say in my work with this sound of shells, it's a space to experience yourself in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
And the sound of the shells, it's one of the oldest instruments besides drums and flutes. The oldest shell for playing is found in France, and it's about 10,000 years old. Imagine. And I have a lot of shells here, and when I bought my first shell, I was amazed from the sound because it's much bigger as every music instrument I know. It's, you know, this um, the conch shells are used in ancient times, not only from the Hawaiian, also the Polynesian, from all people on the water, to also on the land, to connect over long distances, to keep in communication.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also all over the world with indigenous people, used by ceremonies and to make praise, to pray. Um, so I'm using, not everybody can learn to play conch shell, but everybody has a voice. So I teach them also to sing through a conch shell if they wish. It's very magic what happens there. So yeah, this is how I'm working with
Wow.
these three parameters.
Wow. So what like make you, or what guided you to get interested to something like that, this shamanism, or
I
discover, how did you find out about them, how your path?
Yeah, it started by playing trumpet when I was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was I loved this instrument because of the sound. And so I realized that with my breathing, a lot of things are moving inside me. As more as I could work with my breath, I realized, wow, I can do much more with my breath than to play trumpet. So I experienced with myself how it feels, how it feels to go in a sort of pull breathing to very calm, very slow. And after breathing out, make a long pause and then start to the point to breathe in how it feels to me and what is moving inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And also the opposite, I try to figure out what makes it with me. So how I feel with it. So okay, I'm very excited, or what is it? Do I become more energy?
Mm-hmm.
So and then when I studied music, the universe put me into a part of music which is very specialized, playing trumpet without valves on period instruments, like they were played in the middle of 18th century, or in the 19th century, in the middle 1830, something like this. And this is a other way to hear music, because with the French Revolution in Europe, the imagination how music should be changed. So it came and new instruments developed, and the composer thought it would be better when the sound has more overlays. It's not so separate like in Baroque music or this music
Mm-hmm.
before, ancient music. So I was with this part, the universe throwed me in a part with where sound is very important, because these period instruments sound in a very different way, and the orchestras are in another balance, the musicians and the instruments. So the violins have natural strings, not metal things, natural things from, oh, I don't know the English word. And the and the flutes, they are not from metal, they're from wood, and without this thing, you just close the holes with the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
The trumpet are without valves, and the horns without valves. And you don't have a piano. The piano come much later. Um, so when you say when you go to Johann Sebastian Bach, uh, they had not a piano. It wasn't a real piano, not how we know it. So with this kind of going by sound and making music with a trumpet without valves. One day I was in Hawaii visiting from Europe, and I saw a conch shell, and there was a hole in it, and I played, and of course I can play, and it was like boom, I have to have this. And I didn't know what to do with it. I had no idea. So I brought this concho back to my home and sometimes played on it, and always thought, oh my goodness, what shall I do with you? I don't know. And I could only play 2 tones. So, and then one day I met this Greenlandic shaman. And in the moment we met and hugged each other, I knew what to do. It was like boom.
Wow.
And on the next day, I reserved the website Sound of Shells. Really crazy. And it was like out of the blue, it was all there. It came, and then I started to sing, so my head was going running because I said, that's crazy. No, 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 no. And it took me a while to figure out how to put all this information together.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm writing a book about the breath, about these 3 directions of this whole package. And but before I decided me to make a healing CD with only natural instruments. There's nothing modern instrument. So I play on this different conch shells, drums, nature noises, Hawaiian nose flute, because they say the breath from the nose flute comes from deep within, and it's not going through our mouth where we can lie or we can speak words. It's like from deep inside, very clear and pure and divine. So a friend in Helmut, 2 young men, Koska, Nuba, Dreamwalker, he's a Nakoda. He's playing mouse bow, Nakoda mouse bow, and my shaman friend, Canadian shaman friend, Gail Crossness, she's a shaman, and then she's creating drums and soul drums, and she drumming with me, and parts also of singing. We are using our voices. So maybe it's a time to hear a little part from the Sealing CD. It's orientated on the Buddhistic mantra, O Mani Padme Hum, and each syllable, I hope it's the right word, has an own intention, is an own medicine. So it's from the first I sent, it's from the Om written, what I sent to you. and it's to calm down your mind, your everyday talking mind, to relax. So um, the setting is you lay down and you imagine while breathing white light and just hear it. Yeah.
Wow,
So maybe you can hear a little bit from
that's
it.
interesting though, in many layers. And so, that's part of your work. I know you've researched the mysteries of life for over 35 years, and
Yes.
right, and your openness to all this. And you talk about the wisdom, the old wisdom from Hawaii, surface, and Buddhism and all that. So do you use
How?
all concepts, or you just do some of them, or how do you organize yourself to be able to use all these that you've learned, being open to all these different ways of empowering yourself or getting clarity or taking out or, living your life? How do you, go about with all this that you've learned? Because there's a lot coming up there.
Mm, in my life, it was a way. On
Mm-hmm.
one point in my life, I decided only to look at spiritual things. And to a special point, I always learned, but I made a lot of educations or psychotherapeutic educations and self-experience. And on one point, I decided it was after a big impact from universe in our family. My oldest son was very sick. I was 1 year in the hospital with him.
Yeah, leukemia.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, leukemia, and I realized I learned medicine. So, and I realized there's a part where my inner knowing is much faster than every school medicine. And I have had in one situation where it seems that he has to die, he will not survive. There was a moment where I felt a big light coming to me. It was during the operation. I was in the room with my son, and it was the last try, and they were all worried. And I felt as when a light is coming into me. It felt light, 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 light,
Mm-hmm.
and very warm. And it was centered in the um, middle of my chest. And I knew he will survive. I was total clear about it. And but in the outside it wasn't visible to this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
went out from the operation, and before I was really hysteric, and I went out and was total calm and said, "Oh, it's all fine. He will survive." And the doctors thought I'm this crazy mother. And after 1 year, we were in hospital. We returned home. I decided not go for more of this educations. In Germany, you need always the science gives papers on the wall, and I decided to go for spiritual things and to look what happened there, and how is healing really working? What is it really? Why we are here?
Yeah.
And so I started to go more with this. So I started more with this Buddhistic things, with this Hawaiian stuff, and I made so. And this journey was the most exciting journey in my life.
I know.
Um, because I discovered a lot of things inside myself, but also in the world around me. They
Mm.
really changed. There were moments where I suddenly connected to all elements around me, or to the animal world, the plant world. And one day I was traveling to Iceland, and I met there a woman who is talking with fairies and elves. You have to know the Icelandic people.
Yeah.
It's a land, it's a volcanic land, far in the north. And when the government wants to build a new street, they ask the, I don't know exact the English word, it's like an elf minister. They ask them if they can build the street there because maybe there are elves living there. So I'm visiting this woman is Brynlis Pettersdottir, and she's living in the north of Reykjavik, of Iceland. And for her, it's total normal to see this. And she went with me to elf stone, her elf stone. And when we were there, I was standing there on the stone, and she said, "Ah, there's the elves coming," and I didn't see anything. And I said, "Okay." So, and after a while, I thought, well, I would like to experience it, but I don't see it with my eyes. So maybe I should close my eyes. So I closed my eyes, and then I felt it on my left side. It started to be very warm, and I felt a hand on my arm, on my underarm. And so I asked her, please tell me what's going on. And she said, well, is standing on the left side beside you and put your hand on your arm. And I was really, what's this? um, and some people see it, really feel, hear things. There are different channels we receive messages.
Yeah.
And then she gave me from them a very important message for me, and she didn't know anything about it, and it was right on the point. So from this time, I'm in another way connected with these beings. I would say beings. That's really funny. So in my journey, these magic things happened always.
Wow, kind of mysterious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know sometimes it sounds a little bit crazy, but it was my reality.
Yeah.
It is my
Different
reality.
experiences. So, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's good to share it like this because some people you don't know. Maybe you might touch somebody out there who has some sort of experience and they feel like, oh, this is crazy or whatever, but they might relate to you and be like, oh, there's somebody there who has, who had the same experience and, and or something similar. I feel like, okay, I don't think there is anything really, that or I'm supposed to be ashamed of or whatever. And that, right. So it's just
There's a
so many things. That's why we have so many cultures and so many in the world. And people have their different beliefs and different ways of seeing things in different way. And I think that's the beauty of humanity, that different, we have so many different things, people or cultures that we can learn from and different ways of different belief systems. So that's good. Yeah. And you also had one challenge when you moved from East Germany to West Germany. What was
oh,
that?
I was I was very young. I was 16 and a half years old, and my um, father was a priest. He was working in the church, and it's Christian. It's a Christian church, and I'm a single child. And in the communistic system, they didn't want to have church. It was really worse. So and they want to have him out. And one day when he gets older and he had an light heart attack, doctor said, well, you shouldn't work so much. He has 5 villages. He was working for five churches, in each village and church.
Oh.
So he said to them, oh, well, you should stop, because otherwise you will not survive. So he stopped, and to the same time, the aunt of my mother died in Hamburg. And it was clear in East Germany, I never could make, they never would allow me to go to university, because I'm a daughter from a priest, and church wasn't wanted. So they decided to fill a form that they want to move to the west part. And the mostly they didn't allow it, but my father, he was a very strong and revolutionary man. He always said, oh, I have only one chef, and this is God. And I have to look straight ahead in the mirror. And no government and nobody here on this earth is more than this. So it took 1 year. Then they decided, oh, go out, and it was really in 4 weeks you gone. Mm-hmm. And it was, I've grown up in a little village in East Germany. It's about 2,500 people to this time. Landscape, farmers, and I've grown up with nature. I'm a nature child. And then I came to this big city, Hamburg. And I was really shocked, because it was like when I came from the Mars to the Earth. I didn't know a lot of things. And I didn't know how the life and the work and this capitalism is going, and how the money is working. And it took me a while to realize how the life is going there. But the most impressive for me, and it was really a hard time, that the world was so loud, and they didn't take care to nature. There was no consciousness about it. So they just took nature as an industrial thing, like a machine, but it isn't. And I remember I was.
Yeah.
So I remember very exactly when I was sitting on the terrace on where I lived, and I wished to hear nothing, but it was impossible in such a big city. It's so loud.
Wow.
But also a part where I realized what sound is making with our system. Of course, we are all getting used to it. Otherwise, you couldn't live in big cities. Nobody would live there if we are consciousness of this much noises and what this noise is making to our body. So one big part also of my work is to show people how to enjoy silence. And not only the silent in outside, also the silent inside.
Yeah. Wow. You have challenges and really, things going on, and that has helped you, or you've used even those situations to go deeper and to connect even more with your very essence. And one other challenge that you have had is your husband having a heart attack.
Yeah, that was one of the spacey things I ever had. Um, it it was mm, it was night, and I was laying on my back, and I woke up because my body was going up, and I was without using any muscle. You know, when you lay on your back to
Mhm.
go up, somehow you have to use muscles, even from your belly. But it didn't happen. So during this going up, I was wondering, say, why is my body going up? It was as someone is pushing my spine.
Oh.
And when I was up, my mind came, my consciousness is, come on, because I knew he's going now, and I could look in both directions, to this world and to the other world. I was like in the middle of the door, and I know he's leaving. I knew it. And then my consciousness came to, come on, easy, just turn on the light. So I turned on the light, and he was laying beside me. It was all muscles were relaxed, it was all gone, and he wasn't breathing. And what I never had before in the sleeping room was a mobile. This was the first day I've had a mobile in the sleeping room. So I took the mobile and I pressed him and pressured him. This is it's not a reanimation. You can only reanimate someone with a flat heart line by electricity, by the defibrillator, defibrillation. So I pressed and was pumping and calling the emergency, and they had to defibrillate him 4 times until his heart starts regular beating again, and then he was 10 after this he was 10 days in coma. But during the emergency doctor was there, my dead father was standing in the floor in the where we was reanimated, and was saying to me, don't worry, it's all on the right place, all will coming be good. And he was repeating it, and I was standing there, oh no, I'm crazy. That's no, now I'm going crazy. That's sure. That's impossible. And then I thought, if I start to discuss with them, they will take me with them. I shouldn't answer. So, so I was standing there observing the doctor reanimating my husband, was observing my dead father who was standing there, and he wasn't not full like this, it was a little bit shiny. So, and observing myself, a really bizarre situation. So, and when they wheeled him out of the door, I knew there will be no, all will be changed. It would be a complete paradigm change. I felt it, but I didn't realize what it really meant.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it was normally only 2% survives this. So I went every day to the hospital and prayed with his head, and we didn't know how he would coming up. If he could breathe alone, or what's with his brain if he's like vegetable,
Mm-hmm.
or what is coming back. Nobody knew it. So I was there when they defibrillated him, and I was in the same room and I prayed, and it was like a birth. And it was, in these Hollywood pictures, you see the people, they are in coma and they defibrillated and they pop up the eyes and they say, oh, I'm here. And that's not true. That's not the medical reality.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to learn like a baby, really like a baby, everything new, to
Wow.
swallow, to walk, to remember. And he's speaking 4 languages, and these languages were falling back. It took months. It took
Mm-hmm.
months. But um, it was like a miracle for all. It all came back.
Wow, beautiful. And how did you feel during that time when all that was happening? Like, how were you able to like really contain yourself and, and go through that period?
You know, I will tell you two things. And 2 times in my life, I was on the point I don't want to live anymore. The first was when the diagnosis leukemia came from my first son. When I heard it, I was thinking, if he's going to die, I will kill myself. It was so clear. I don't want to bear that hurt. This I don't want to face. And after a while, there came, so, oh, there are 2 other children, and maybe it's not a good idea. But and then I realized, okay, that is the worst case that could happen, and it shifted.
Okay.
And the second time, it was about a half day. I was in the state. And the second time was right after the morning, when the heart attack was, and he was in coma and nobody knows anything. I was sitting there staring out of the window in my garden and said, no, I will not survive. I have no power for this. I don't, I can't bear this, and if he's going to die, I don't want to live anymore.
Oh my goodness.
And so I was sitting there and remembering that this world, nothing is really manifest. Things are changing. And I decided, okay, I'm in the state and I will sit here as long as needed and breathe in and breathe out until this is changing. And then I can't really say how long I was sitting there. I
Hmm.
have no feeling of time when
Hmm.
I remember this. But on one point, there were somehow energy were coming to me from the ground. And it was like a shift in myself, um, that it doesn't matter what is happening in my life, it will not affect me deep inside. So, so it happened.
And you show a lot of strength, even though, you've gone through a lot, these difficult times. It looks like through all this, you've pulled lots of strength. Uh, I would say spiritual strength, not physical, like yeah. And it has connected you more into your very essence and to the point where you believe you talk about self-healing. When you
Yes,
talk about self-healing, what do you mean by that, and how can that manifest?
Mm. In all of us, is the Buddhistic people say we all have an inner light. For my experience, we all have an inner essence,
Yeah.
and this essence is, there are not really words for it. I'm using words for it, but this is a part where there is no time, there are no thoughts, there it's a space.
Yeah.
It's a space of love and knowing, and we everyone has this space deep inside. Some people can go very easily to the space, and some people only in the end of their lives, they're going to die, they discover. Some people in the middle of the life, some people are born with this space, with this consciousness of the space. Um, for me, this we can discover this inner space with our breath, with the sound, and with intention. That's the way. And it doesn't, in this space, it doesn't matter what is happening in the outside. This is a space where the whole world is created from, and we are just on this part right now.
Mm-hmm.
On
Wow.
this, yeah.
Wow. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your work, your experiences with us. I'm so thankful for this space, for this time, and for the great, wisdom and giving us that assurance again. Or there are people like Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm not sure if you know. Yeah. Dr. Lipton as well.
Joe
Yeah.
Guitar,
Read.
yeah, Casey
Yeah.
Byron,
Yeah. They all did.
they
Did
know this.
those.
They
Yeah.
all.
Rhythm. Yeah. So I also love their teachings a lot because they come, from that space as well of our very essence, and you know that there is no time in that, no time, you just where you are, no thought, no, you just being enveloped in that, not being worried by anything that is happening in the world. And really, I love that. Thanks again, Angela, for opening your heart with
I,
us.
I thank you
Yeah,
to
thank
share.
you. Yeah. Do you have one last word you want to share with the audience today?
Oh, mm, follow your heart. Always follow your heart.
Thank you. Thank you. That's profound. Uh, so at the description box of this episode, I'm going to put your information. I know those who will, relate or feel connected to what you shared, they can easily get to you, or contact to know more,
Mhm.
or also experience this wonderful things in their lives. You've had a lot of challenges. At the same time, you've had like beautiful signs, or changes in a
Yeah,
positive, which is, yeah, which is the beauty of all. And having you come here with that smile and sharing those experiences with us is really amazing. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode. Make sure you listen and take some actions. Yes, because we are here to make our world a better place, working from inside out, being connected to our very essence of life. Thanks again. Thank you. And bye for now until we meet again.